What is up, everybody? Welcome to episode 1 of the Mikey Brennan podcast. Today we'll be having a epic episode for you guys. I hope you guys are ready and excited. So first for today, we will be debuting the Padres-Dodgers series. Obviously, that game won last night. We'll talk about that and the future next two games and everything we think about these two teams coming down in the playoff line. Mikey, what was your initial reaction when you were watching the game after the Los Angeles Dodgers absolutely destroyed the Padres last night?
So, yeah, I was watching this game. In the Padres' first inning, Soto had a great double, and I thought they were going to beat the Dodgers because they were doing great at the beginning. Josh Bell got a hit, Soto got a hit. Machado, he struck out, which was not great, but honestly, I thought the Padres were going to win in that bottom of the first. I know it's early, but they were just popping off. And for the Dodgers, in the top of the first, obviously, that throw to Josh Bell just missed the catch and it went into the dugout. So 2-run score.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if that was Josh Bell's fault. I think that was Brendan Jury's fault.
Yeah, it was a terrible throw, but yeah, it was probably Brendan Jury's fault. It was a terrible throw and a 2-run scored that just that one play. And I think that the Padres are going to do a lot better than they were going to do, especially when Tatis comes back. But I don't think they're going to do as well as everyone thinks they are. I don't think they're going to go super far in the playoffs. The Dodgers, on the other hand, I think they have a good chance of making it back to the World Series. Brennan?
Yeah, I feel like it was just starting pitching from Sean Manaea. It was just not very solid, obviously. He didn't get a lot of help from Brandon Jury over there at third. Obviously, he made a few errors. But I definitely think his stuff could have been better. I mean, Cody Bellinger, who's been having a very bad season, got a double off him. And if Cody Bellinger starts coming alive for the Dodgers are going to be a very scary team. Yeah, Cody's hitting .202, and I mean, once he got that double, it was pretty much sealed that the Dodgers were going to win this game. I feel like the offense just never showed up for the Padres, and I mean, they scored 4 in the first inning, 4 in the third inning, and then you're down 8-0, and you just, you're kind of collecting your thoughts and getting ready for the next game of the series. But I'm really excited for the next game in the series. I think it's going to be another good one, 9-10. Dodgers again at home. Mike Clevinger on the mound versus Andrew Heaney. Pretty even pitching matchup for both teams, and I can't wait to see who will come out with this one. I think offense will whoever can score more runs. It's not like I'm not no disrespect to either Clevinger or Heaney, but I don't think this is going to be pitcher's duel. I think this is going to be both offenses are going to be rearing and ready to go.
Yeah, I think the offense are going to have to carry this one because Andrew Heaney is 1-0, so hasn't played a lot of games. And .77 ERA, but then again, he hasn't played many games. Mike Clevinger, 3.13 ERA. He's having a pretty good season, 3-3. I think that today, Manny Machado will probably pop off, like he normally does. Mookie Betts, my pick for MVP in their league, and obviously this is a division rivalry. I think the Dodgers will take this one again. Obviously being the home team. Freddie Freeman playing amazing. Trey Turner playing amazing. Everyone on the Dodgers is just doing great, and the Padres, obviously they just got Josh Bell and Juan Soto. They had to give up a lot for him, but
A lot.
yeah,
A lot of prospects.
and I think that these two teams are obviously amazing. I think that the Dodgers will pull it out tonight. You?
I think it really just depends on which team shows up at the ballpark. I feel like the Padres are a little more inconsistent than the Dodgers. The Dodgers just have guys that will show up every single day, ready to compete and ready to win. You know, every day they show up to the ballpark, they're ready to win, and I think there is a little bit of an inconsistency from the Padres. I think that's really important going down the stretch. But I do agree with Mikey. I think the Padres will take this game as a little revenge game for getting pretty badly beaten up by the Dodgers last night. Another series that kicked off Thursday that's really important for the NL East is Braves-Mets. On Thursday, August 4th, the Mets were able to hook down the Braves in the first game of this 5-game series, 6-4. Carlos Carrasco had a good game. Kyle Wright gave up two runs in the first 2 innings and then 3 in the third. Settled down a little bit after that. Braves got 3 back in the 5th. Obviously, this game was a few days ago, so I'm not really going to recap this. But that first game happened, and then Friday, last night, the Braves were able to get back and win 9-6. Acuna, Taijuan Walker got tagged for 6 runs in the early. Mikey, what do you make of this game for the Braves and the Mets?
So I think that these two teams are great teams. Obviously, the Braves are only 3 games behind the Mets. So I think that genuinely the Braves will, in my opinion, I think the Braves will go back to the World Series. Obviously, they got Dansby Swanson, Austin Riley. Dansby Swanson, Austin Riley, obviously Acuna, Matt Olson. They have a great team. Their pitching core is pretty good. But also the Mets are great as well. They have Jeff McNeil, who's playing amazing. Francisco Lindor is kind of settling down. Alonso doing pretty good. They have a great team, and obviously DeGrom just came back, so he's going to get some pitching in there. Sterling Marte, great. So they have a great all-around team. I think that the Braves will win this series.
Yeah, I think it was just early and often offense for the Braves. They never really slowed down. Olsen got a single in the first in that game. And it's just the Braves from the World Series. They were just tacking on runs. Olsen coming in for Freeman and got the starting pitcher up and out of there, and came and got at that bullpen for this 5-game series. It's really important. It looks like the Braves 64-43 and the Mets 67-39. So just offense was ready. They came out blazing, and they were able to down their NL East rival. Now, earlier today in a day game, the Mets were able to take it from the Braves. Now that is 2 games won for the Mets, and that is a big one. Daniel Vogelbach and Alonso give the Mets some runs. A big boy Vogelbach traded to the Mets from the Pirates, and him and Alonso were going back to back, got back-to-back ribbies to give Alonso single to Wright to score Marte, and then Vogelbach single to score Lindor, and that was quick in the first inning, and all of a sudden the Braves are down 2-0, and Jake Odorizzi got the loss for the Braves, and David Peterson got the win for the Mets. And just again, early and often scoring is very big in this series, and there it is again. When you come out early and punch your opponent in the mouth, that's what they're looking for. That's what teams are looking for, and they did that. And Mets were able to get this win. Looking forward to Game 2 in this series. And Mikey, what are your initial thoughts after this game?
my thoughts are the Mets played a fantastic game, offense, defense, even though they gave up 5 runs. It's an 8-5 game, game 1 of the doubleheader today. Obviously, if I'm Francisco Lindor, I would feel very, very sad about that play that hit off the top of the wall, and it was not a home run.
Not a home run for Frankie.
And obviously, the Mets took this one 68. The Braves are 4 games down to the Mets, and the Mets coming out with an early 5-0. Well, not early, but in the 6th inning, 5-0. Then the Braves started, finding them, and then finding themselves, and then in the 9th inning, scoring 3 runs with Contreras grounding out to shortstop with some scoring. Grossman double to center, and then Matt Olson single to center. So they kind of found themselves in the 9th inning, and they scored 5 runs, which is great, but they lost to the Mets.
Yep.
So, and they're division rivals, so they need to win their next couple of games.
So it's 7:10 Eastern. So you really got to choose which game you want to watch. Do you want to watch the Padres-Dodgers game, or do you want to watch the Mets-Braves game? 7:10. We have a pitching matchup for the ages. Max Fried versus Max Scherzer. The Maxes go at it at 7:10. The Mets are favored in this game, but if you want to go to have a bet on this one, 10-3 Max Fried versus 7-2 Max Scherzer. One thing I will say about Max Scherzer, him being a former Nationals player, I've seen him a lot. He gives up a lot of first inning home runs, and we've seen the theme so far with this series is first inning runs for either team. And I think that could come back to bite Max Scherzer. If he gets through the first inning scoreless, I think this is good thing. That's a good thing for Mets fans and Max Scherzer. Max Fried, just a very underrated pitcher, and I think he'll perform. I think it'll be a pitcher's duel. I think every run will be important. And I think solo shots, I think solo shots will be killers tonight at 7:10 Mets Braves. Make sure you tune in.
All right, so there's one matchup that I want to talk about. All right, starting Friday. It started Friday, and it is the Orioles and the Pirates. So their first game was on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It was a low-scoring game, 1-0.
1-0.
Obviously, the Baltimore just losing Trey Mancini is terrible, but
what did they even get back for him? Do you know?
I'm not sure what they got back.
Maybe some
They didn't get a
prospects.
lot back. So obviously the Pirates, O'Neal Cruz kind of showing who he is. Brian Reynolds doing his thing. Cedric Mullins, Adley Rutschman, Adley coming and having a great rookie season. Anthony Santander, Ryan Mountcastle. They got a good squad. Jorge Mateo, I think he's top 5 in stolen bases. He's great at that.
Yeah, he is. He's got like 14.
Yeah. So the Baltimore pulled out 1-0, and there's a pretty big difference in their record. 55-51 for the Baltimore Orioles and 43-63 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Do you have any thoughts on this game?
I mean, not really. I think it's a little bit of a splash in the future. I think the Pirates still have some weapons in the minor leagues, and so do the Orioles. I think the Orioles, are kind of playing for the future a little bit. I mean, they're still in the wild card race. They're 1.5 games back. I'm surprised they didn't add, but then again, they're playing for the future. They're playing for when Gunnar Henderson and all them gets called up. They're winning 3-0 right now with another run on second with 1 out. I think if they can take care of this series against the Pirates, they've got it's a 3-game series. If they can sweep this 3-game series, that would definitely help them. I think they have every day. If they want to make the playoffs, they gotta win, and that's basically what they gotta do. Anything you want to add?
Nope.
All right. So we've got a lot of great games coming up this weekend. You will be greatly intrigued by the good amount of baseball we will be seeing over the weekend. Really excited for that. Twins Blue Jays 7:10 p.m. Another game you can tune in. You got lots of options here today on Saturday, and then Sunday more great options. Blue Jays Twins continue their series. Mets Braves continue their series, and then Dodgers Padres on Sunday Night Baseball. I'm very excited for these series. I'll be trying to watch all of them. Mikey, anything you want to add about the Twins Blue Jays series?
Yes, there is. So the Twins and Blue Jays have a pretty similar record, only 3 games apart, with the Blue Jays being 59-47 and the Twins being 56-50.
Mm-hmm.
So the Blue Jays are favored to win by a little bit, by around 1 point. Who I think will come out of here with the dub today at 7:10 will be the Minnesota Twins. Toronto has a great lineup. They have Vlad, Luis Guerrero Jr. They have obviously Alejandro Kirk. You know, there's some guys that I'm not mentioning, but they have a great squad. It's just this Minnesota team is so intriguing. Like Byron Buxton having a great year, like Luis Arraez also doing great. You know, they have a great team, and I think that Minnesota will come out with a win by like 2 or 3 maybe. You?
Yeah, I think the Twins will take it out mostly for the starting pitching. They have Dylan Bundy on the mound for the Twins, and it's Mark White for the Blue Jays. Has not pitched a game all year, and I think if the Twins offense can step up, hammer through some runs, they'll be able to do it. They won in extras last night. They won in extras last night in 10 innings. So I think they can take at least. I'm hoping they can take 1 out of the next 2 from the Blue Jays. That would be huge. With the White Sox playing some good ball, obviously against lesser teams, but they've pulled out a few, like 3 or 4 in a row, and they're threatening. Guardians and White Sox 2 games back. I think the Twins definitely had some good mojo going for them with the trade deadline, and none of those White Sox or Guardians really added anything. But you never know. They got to continue playing good ball.
Another reason why I believe that the Twins will beat the Blue Jays is obviously a lot of people would say, and myself would say, that Vladimir Guerrero is the best, one of the best, or the best on the Blue Jays. And against Dylan Bundy in his career, he is 2 for 14. So he doesn't hit great against Dylan Bundy. Bo Bichette hits okay, and Matt Chapman is 3 for 23 in his career against
Dylan Bundy.
So that's another reason why I think that the Minnesota Twins will come out with this one.
NFL preseason. We had a preseason game for the first time in a while. Jags Raiders Hall of Fame week, and the Raiders absolutely wrecked them. Not really much to make out of these games. Preseason Hall of Fame. A lot of people inducted into the Hall of Fame, and a really cool week for football. Not much going on as training camp starts. Let's play a game here. This or that quarterback edition. We'll switch off. I say a quarterback. You say quarterback. You tell me which one you would rather have this year. So if I said Kenny Pickett, you might take Kenny Pickett over Russell Wilson for the future, but we're talking about this year, which will help your team more. So my first one is Russell Wilson or Kyler Murray.
Okay. So, like their performance, or their like them and their surroundings and their performance?
Who would you rather have this year for your team?
For my team this year, I would rather have Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, he was injured last season, obviously, but you know, Russell Wilson is that guy who can just do anything. Like, he's a great scrambler. He has such a great arm, and you know, he can just, when somebody wants him to produce, he can just do it, and it's that simple for him. Like, he's just so great at producing for his team, and I would rather for this year have Russell Wilson on my team, but for the future, I would rather have Kyler Murray because he's younger. You?
I think I would have to take. That's difficult. I mean, I kind of want to say Kyler Murray, but I don't really know what Kyler Murray is going to perform like after. I don't really know what. I'm a little uncertain on how Russ will perform after that injury, and I think I've got to say Kyler Murray with just that inconsistency about what we don't know about Russell Wilson. I think Kyler Murray has the weapons. He has D-Hop. He has some more weapons than Russell Wilson. Obviously, not a ton more, but I think his running game too. Obviously, Russ can run a little bit too, but he's getting older. I think I would just take Kyler Murray. I think he'll be more fresh, younger, and yeah, that's pretty much where I'm going. Kyler Murray.
All right, I have a good this or that quarterback edition. Battle of the rookies last year: Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson.
That's a difficult one. I think I gotta go Trevor Lawrence. I think that's a very difficult one because on-field performance, I think it was Zach Wilson was better last year. But, you know, you don't really know. The coaching staff obviously was a little bit weird with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Some weird stuff was going on. So I think that might have held Trevor Lawrence back from being who we all think he could possibly be. I think it's very easy to go flip side and just say Zach Wilson, but I think Trevor Lawrence, we saw the talent he has in college, and I think he'll just show that off this year and take a giant leap with Doug Peterson, who won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, being his head coach this year.
Yeah, I think it's really neck and neck for me. It's really tough to make this choice because obviously their surrounding offensive pieces aren't great, and it's really hard to judge someone when they don't have like great pieces. Like Patrick Mahomes had like Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, so it was like, you know, easier than having like Corey Davis and Elijah Moore, who were great but not as good as. Yeah. So I think that next year it's going to be Zach Wilson because I feel like Trevor Lawrence I think he will be better in the future, but I feel like Zach Wilson is more developed right now. Like, I mean, he knows how to include the running backs. He has smart plays. Like, I've watched a couple Jets games last year, and he just plays really smart. And I think that for next year, if I could pick one quarterback, it would be Zach Wilson.
Okay. I've got a pretty interesting one for you. Justin Herbert or Josh Allen?
All right. I in my opinion,
Your biased, humble opinion.
I think for me it's a no-brainer. I gotta go with Josh Allen. Like, I mean, yeah, Josh Allen. It's Josh Allen. Like, if you watch that Chiefs-Bills playoff game last year, it's really just the overtime rules are just terrible. Justin Herbert is a great young quarterback. He has such a great future. I think he probably should have been taken higher than he was. I think he's the best rookie quarterback out of that draft class. Justin Herbert is just amazing. Like, he is incredible. He can throw it deep. Obviously, he has a good running back. He has a good receiving core, but he knows what they're best at and can incorporate it into his, skill level. Like, he knows that Mike Williams, he's not like really a route runner. He can just like he's really physical and can like moss anyone. But he knows that Keenan Allen is just like a great route runner, and he has good routes for Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. And he always puts like Eckler on good routes if he's not running it and like puts him on a wheel. But I still gotta go with Josh Allen just for what he's done over the past like couple of seasons.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Josh Allen is a top 3 QB. I think Josh Allen is going to make, he was very good last year, and I think he's going to be even better this year. I just think I'm very high on Josh Allen, and I think he should perform. He might have a bad few weeks coming off of that Super Bowl, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but then I also wouldn't be surprised if he comes out and starts dominating from week 1 to week 17, all 16 games of the season. Or there's 17 games, right? Yeah, 17 games after that rule change. I think I just wouldn't be surprised if he dominates this year, and it's an easy pick. For me, it's an easy pick for, I think, most people. I can definitely see the argument of Justin Herbert, but I mean, I'm very high on Josh Allen, and I think that's an easy pick for me.
All right, I think I'm gonna wrap up quarterback talk, and my final one will be It's a good one. Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers.
Tom Brady easily. I mean, I just don't see Tom Brady is a better quarterback. He knows how to lead a locker room. He knows how to lead a team. And Tom Brady's the GOAT, and he might not play as well in the past few years as Aaron Rodgers, but I just don't see how you not take, when you have this decision to take the greatest football player to ever touch the field, touch football. It's easy. Tom Brady.
So, I will take Tom Brady, but I don't think it's as close as you think. Aaron Rodgers had Devontae Adams injured for a little bit. He was injured for a little bit last year, and obviously with the COVID stuff, he was out for.
But then again, Tom Brady almost led a great comeback versus.
That is true.
Versus the now Super Bowl champion LA Rams with Gronk, who I think Gronk got injured in that game, right? Or he might have played, I don't know. But he didn't have anybody, He didn't have Antonio Brown, I know that for dang sure. And then he was just able, and he came out and dominated.
I mean, he had Mike Evans, who is probably one of the most, I would say, the most consistent wide receiver in the NFL. He has Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette in the backfield.
But he didn't have it against the Rams, and he was still able to perform.
Oh wait, no, he didn't. Chris Godwin was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking Tom Brady, but again, Aaron Rodgers, back-to-back MVPs, pretty impressive.
I mean, you can't not take Tom Brady though,
Yeah, all time, it's not even a debate. But right now, I don't know. I'm still gonna take Tom Brady, but I think it's closer than you think.
All right. What do you want to have? What's your next topic be?
All right. Do you want to move it over to NBA?
All right, let's do it.
All right. This or that. Point guard edition. All right. I have a nice good one for you.
All right. I'm ready. Bring it.
Luka Doncic.
Mm-hmm.
Doncic. I don't know how to
pronounce
his name. Versus Steph Curry.
Right now. This year. Okay. Steph Curry. I mean, everyone's saying he's not gonna perform. He's not gonna do well. But I mean, then again, he continues to be the best player in the game, and one of the best point guards in the game. And I just think, I just think it's hard to not take Tom Brady after last year's.
Tom Brady.
Steph Curry after last year's sorry, I can't speak. After last year's championship.
All right. I respect that opinion. Curry is a lot better than Luka Doncic all time. But next year, I'm going with my MVP pick, Luka Doncic. He is, you watch him play. He makes incredible passes.
So does Curry.
Yeah, I know, but
So
Luka.
does Curry.
I know.
So does Curry.
I know, but Luka, just like he makes the game feel like unfair for the opponents.
So does Steph Curry. Man can pull up from the logo and just splash.
Well, so can Luka.
Not as well as Curry.
I know, but Luka, Steph Curry has Klay Thompson. He has
Didn't have him for
I know.
beginning of the year, and they were still good. They were still competing with the Suns.
Draymond Green.
Draymond Green, can he really? Is he a threat from outside the arc? No.
Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins,
He's great.
Overrated.
Kevon Looney.
Kevon Looney's a big man.
Yeah, I know. James Wiseman.
If Steph Curry drives into the lane, you're not thinking, oh yeah, we gotta make sure he doesn't pass the ball to Kevon Looney. You're thinking, let's stop Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
When Luka Doncic drives in, you're thinking, let's stop Luka Doncic.
But so here's the thing. Also, Jordan Poole, Gary Payton, like they have a great squad. Luka's Mavericks. They had Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, and really not. He didn't have as good as a team.
I get it. He didn't have as good as a team, but like Steph Curry had that same team. He could do just what Luka did.
And they were only one game behind the Warriors in the regular season. Obviously, the Warriors won in the playoffs 4-1. Steph Curry really showed out in the playoffs. Finals MVP, having a great season. I think that next year, my pick would be Luka. He's my MVP, so I can't not pick him. So that is my take on Luka.
All right, my turn. All right. Let's think. I was thinking of a good one here. That one was hard to top. Not gonna lie. Let's go. Trae Young or Ja Morant.
Okay.
I think we both should have the same opinion on this, but
these two players I have a lot of favorite players, but these two are probably in my top 5 favorite players. I'm gonna take Ja Morant here. Ja Morant, he's not even really close to as good as Trae Young is at like 3-pointers, float game, mid-range. But Ja Morant is not ranked the worst defender in the league. He is maybe one of the best finishers. He definitely is one of the best finishers in the league, maybe the best. He's a great point guard. He can He can make his teammates a lot better. Obviously, he has a better surrounding team. Well, last season now, Trae Young is DeJounte Murray. But Ja Morant, it's just when you watch him, it's just like incredible to watch. And I really like Trae Young, but I just have to take Ja Morant.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think you touched on a lot of points there. The athleticism and the defense is just why he's better. I think it's just as simple as that, and I mean, it's a simple explanation like that, and I really don't, yeah, you're correct. Like, there's nothing I need to say, nothing I need to not say. I mean, that was, you know.
Alright, I guess I'll do one more this or that.
Alright, let me get one more after this one, alright?
I guess I'll do my last this or that NBA point guard. Chris Paul, Darius Garland.
Darius Garland. I know a lot of people will not agree with that, but I mean, if you saw what Chris Paul, how he performed in Game 7 against Luka, he was in foul trouble, and I forget if it was Game 6 or Game 5. He didn't perform in the playoffs. Garland has never really gotten a playoff experience, but I feel like Garland is just quick, young, and Chris Paul is aging. Chris Paul is not LeBron James. Chris Paul is not Steph Curry. He's nowhere close to their tier, and that's why I think age will eventually catch up to him, and that's why I'm taking Darius Garland. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I'm taking Darius Garland.
Alright, so this is pretty shocking, but I also have Darius Garland. Darius Garland, Chris Paul his team is the 1 lose in the second round. Like, I mean,
He choked in playoffs. Choke.
I mean, Darius Garland has a good team around him to work with. Like Karis LeVert, I really like him. I think he's underrated and really great.
Great.
Small forward. Who they got as small forward? Lauren Markkinen. Is he playing small forward there? Isaac Okoro.
I think Isaac Okoro.
He's pretty good. Power forward. Evan Mobley. Pretty good.
Yep.
And center Jared Allen. Like Jared Allen, Evan
That's
Mobley.
underrated. They were like about to make the playoffs, right?
Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, and Darius Garland. They're all young. They're all really good, and they have such a great future. Chris Paul is also really great. Just I can't take him over Darius Garland.
All right, let's get. Let me do one more. Who should I? What should I do? Who should I do? How should I do? Maybe I'll get Ben Simmons in here. You never know. LaMelo Ball or All right, I'll give me some time to think about this. I need a little bit of time. All right. LaMelo Ball or Drew Holiday?
Okay.
I think that's a little bit of a not as a cool one, but it's one. That's
All
what
right.
I'm going with.
I have my answer.
All right. Who you got?
I think personally that LaMelo Ball is overrated a little bit,
Whoa, there, buddy.
but I'm still taking him over Drew Holiday.
That's all right. You better not take him over. Better take him over.
So LaMelo is, great passer, great shooter. He's okay on defense, and Drew Holiday.
He's good on defense when he wants to play defense.
And Drew Holiday, and he can make clutch buckets,
Facts.
baskets. Drew Holiday he's a pretty decent shooter, not as good as LaMelo.
He's a defender.
And I think personally he's the best defender, best point guard defender in the NBA.
Yeah.
Other than
That's
Marcus Smart, defensive player of the year. So I'm gonna take LaMelo over Drew Holiday. I'm not the biggest fan of LaMelo, but I think it'd be wrong to take Drew Holiday over LaMelo.
Yeah, I think I chose a little bit of a too easy one there, but I think I'm gonna go with LaMelo. He's a great passer. He can shoot. He plays defense when he wants to play defense. I think it will hopefully if the Hornets ever make the playoffs, he'll play defense. And he's got a little bit of controversial side to him. That he can sometimes be a little bit controversial. But I think it's LaMelo, and he's the clear option over Drew Holiday. It's pretty awesome. I think I chose pretty awesome. All right, let's go with one of the kind of question marks in the NFL. The Washington Commanders. Some people thinking they are going to have a winning record. Some people on NFL have them winning 3 games. We have a lot of different opinions about this team, and this team goes as Carson Wentz goes. I think a lot of people know that, and a lot of people have a different opinion on how Carson Wentz will perform. Mikey, what do you think of this team, and how do you think they'll perform?
So I think that Carson Wentz won't do as bad as everyone is saying he will, but obviously I'm going to be a little biased here because I am a big fan of this team. Carson Wentz is great. They got Sam Howell, so I'm going to start with the QB room. They got Sam Howell in the draft, who is pretty good at North Carolina, and obviously we saw who and how Taylor Heineke can play.
They got three decent.
They got 3 decent quarterbacks, and then
If only they
Cole Kelsey.
If only they could combine those 3 quarterbacks into like one. I
Then
wonder how good that quarterback would be if you combine Carson Wentz, Sam Howell, and Tyler Heineke together. Would that quarterback be good, or would that quarterback be bad?
I mean, if they combine all their skill sets, like Sam Howell's throw power, Taylor Heineke's like movement, and Carson Wentz 1,000 yards last year, which was great. J.D. McKissick, one of the best receiving running backs in the league. And Brian Robinson, the rookie that they just got. So I think they're going to try
They also have Dotson.
He's a receiver.
Yeah.
So I think that their running back coach will try to incorporate all three. Maybe
I think it'll just be Gibson and McKissick, honestly.
But so I think their offensive line is pretty good. Tight end room, it's okay. You know,
It's decent.
They
Is
got
Logan Thomas still on the team, right?
Yeah, Logan Thomas is on.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And then wide receivers, obviously there's one above the rest with Terry McLaurin there. They have a pretty decent wide receiver room with Curtis Samuel. Sorry,
He's a receiver.
Jahan Dotson, who is great.
If Curtis Samuel can
Sampson.
stay healthy, I mean, they kind of built the offense around him a little bit, and then he just never really showed up at all he was just injured the whole year.
And then I also really like Cam Sims, so I think they have a great offense.
I think, honestly, their front like six, you know, they have some decent linebackers. They have Cole Holcomb and Jermaine Davis. And hopefully he can take a step forward. And then their pass rushers are just phenomenal. They have All-Pro, Jonathan Allen. But, like, besides Kendall Fuller, who is, I mean, average at best, I would say, and Cam Curl, who do they have? You know, I think that's the biggest problem for this team. They don't really have a good secondary, and I think their secondary has been a problem for them in the past few years. And obviously, when the front four couldn't really get to the quarterback, it was a struggle for them to try to kind of stay with the receivers. And then obviously they caught a few breaks in that year that they made the playoffs. Cam Curl got a fumble recovery against the 49ers, which was huge for them to win that game. And that was big for them to potentially win the Steelers game and then eventually go 7-9. So every win was huge for them when you're just going 7-9. But I think that's the biggest problem with this team, and I think if they can maybe pick someone up, I don't really know. It's definitely an interesting roster.
Yeah, so
Obviously Bobby McCain will be decent, but like 4 interceptions last year just ain't great for your number one guy.
So yeah, their secondary is not it's pretty bad. But tell me, who is going to be getting 7+ yards a carry on Deron Payne,
Yeah,
Jonathan
but then if
Allen,
you just pass the ball,
Chase Young,
you're just gonna pass
Montez
the
Sweat? They won't have much time to pass the ball, so they're not
But
going
then
to.
last year, when did the defense just never showed up?
I know, because most of their Chase Young was injured for most
Yeah,
of
for
the
half
season.
the year he had 1.5 sacks.
It's true, but I think that those 4 right there, they'll do great this season, and
Chase Young won't be back by the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah, he won't be back.
That's what I thought.
It's guaranteed he won't be week 1. He won't play week 1. We don't know other than that, but yeah, I think the Commanders' record, I think they might win 8-9 games.
Yeah, I mean, you never really know with this team, but I feel like if they win the games they should win, you know, if they win most of the games they should win, I think they'll have a decent season.
Oh yeah. Also,
And-
they have the easiest record.
Yeah, that's one thing that you're looking at, you know, when you're seeing this. I think they just got it, you know, you never know if you, with this team, with Carson Wentz as a quarterback, you never know which games you will win, and none of the games are guaranteed wins. So I think if they play good football on games they should win, and they win, you know, 75-80% of those games, I think they maybe will have a shot to compete for the Cowboys for the division. If the Cowboys, you know, don't just go off and, you know, Micah Parsons is just dominating defensively against the Commanders like he did last year, and Dak is picking that secondary apart.
All right.
What do you want us to touch on next?
All right. I think you want to do one more topic?
All right, how many? I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good to go as long as we want.
All right. I think we should move back. Actually, let's stay on the topic of NFL.
All right.
Let's see.
Got for me.
All right. I have a division that I kind of want to talk about.
All right, let's do it.
Let's talk about the NFC West with the Los Angeles Rams, Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, and the Seattle Seahawks.
Alright. So,
So let's start by just ranking what we think they're gonna do, and then talk about why.
alright. Can I go first?
Yeah.
So I think this division will look like Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. I think
NFC West.
NFC? Oh, I thought you said AFC. Oh, NFC West? Alright. I think it will be Rams, Cardinals, 49ers, Seahawks. I think that's a pretty basic answer. I feel like the Seahawks won't. I feel like Seahawks just won't be doing very well. Their quarterback is. One sec. Their quarterback is Drew Lock. So
Drew Lock. So.
I mean, you can't really expect much from that team. Defending Super Bowl champs, I think they will take first in this division, just because the Cardinals are so inconsistent. I feel like 1 week they're the best team in the league, 1 week they're having a miracle play, and 1 week they're, they're terrible. 1 week they're great, 1 week they're terrible, 1 week they catch a miracle.
And then 1 week they lose to the Lions.
Yeah, and at 49ers, I just feel like everyone's hating on Jimmy G, but I just don't know if he'll win enough games to be a playoff team, and I don't know if Trey Lance in his first year will be able to do it, sitting on the bench for the last 2 years. That might help him actually, but I just don't really see that coming through.
Okay.
And then Rams, Super Bowl champs, they still got Aaron Donald, they still got Matthew Stafford, and they're still a Super Bowl defending champs. They lost a few receivers, but I think they'll be able to, they got Ramsey in that secondary. I think they'll still be able to come through and win this division.
All right. I'm gonna start from fourth to first because this is kind of shocking. All right, fourth I have Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Third I have Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Second I have the Rams, and then first I have the 49ers.
I don't hate that. I can see that happen. I don't think that's in a crazy world that doesn't happen.
The Seahawks, obviously they have Drew Lock, Chris Carson just retired, which is really sad because of his injuries. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, good receiving core. They just
No quarterback.
no quarterback. They just lost Bobby Wagner, which isn't great. But and obviously they lost Russell Wilson. But yeah. So I think they're gonna get fourth place. I don't think they're as bad. I just don't see them getting past any of the other three teams. And third place, Arizona Cardinals. I don't really have much to say about this team. They have good running back, James Conner. Kyler Murray, obviously he's Kyler Murray. Good receivers. D-Hop's out for a little bit, so I think that
Speak up a little so that.
I think D-Hop is out for a little bit, so I think the other two teams will do better when D-Hop is out, and I just don't see them coming back with D-Hop and then
I said D-Hop. I said Kyler Murray had D-Hop, but
and then also they gave up Christian Kirk. They let Christian Kirk walk, so I don't really know. And Rams number 2, they're stacked.
they are stacked.
Cooper Kupp, Odell. They just signed Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson.
I feel like they got the money, they signed players, and that's pretty much that.
Needs picks.
Yeah, needs picks.
Matt Stafford, a quarterback, great. Running back Cam Akers, I think he'll have a breakout season. Offensive line is pretty good. Defense, obviously Aaron Donald. That just makes your defensive line explosive on another level.
I mean, everyone gets one-on-one coverage because this guy's getting double, triple team because he's just so good.
And also, Jalen Ramsey, he's just someone that it's just like
Great in the secondary.
Yeah, they have a great secondary, great D-line. I think the Rams will. I think they'll lose by 1-2 games against the Niners. I'm very big on the Niners. I think whoever's going to be their quarterback, I think they should use Trey Lance to develop a little bit more. And whoever they use, I think they'll obviously Trey Lance in the one game that he played, they won. So if he can do that every time and just get the job done and win, like he did in that one game he played, I think that they'll just do great. And running back core, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Cooks. Brandon Ayuk. It's self-explanatory. Those two receivers, they're goated. You know?
Yeah.
And defense, it's great. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner. I think that they'll come out with the top seat in the NFC West.
All right. Let's get back to the MLB.
All right.
Let's get back to the wild card picture for both sides, National League and American League. Let's start with the National League. I'm gonna give you the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The top 5 teams. I'm gonna give you the top 5 teams. Just give me your initial reaction and why you think that, and yeah. So
What are we starting with?
we're starting with NL. Let's start with NL. All right, NL coming in at first place in the wild card right now is the Atlanta Braves at 64 and 44. Coming in at second is the Padres at 61 and 48. Coming in at number 3, the Phillies at 58 and 48. Coming in at number 4, tied with the Phillies. There's a 3-way tie. Phillies are tied with the Cardinals at 58 and 48. And then Milwaukee and the Cardinals are tied for first place, and they're tied for the wild card. So Cardinals 58 and 48, 58 and 48. Then there's a little bit of a drop off, 51 and 55 with the Giants. So let's just talk about those teams. Padres, I think, are a lock to make that wild card. Obviously, the ship has sailed in the division. They're over 13 games back. Lost last night. I think they will clearly win the wild card. I think the only thing that scares me about that is they play a lot of games against the Dodgers, and they can possibly, drop those, get swept by a series. And it's not like they're up by a ton. They're only up by 3 games on the Phillies, and they have the same losses. But the Padres have 3 more wins, which is why they're ahead of them. Braves, I think that'll be the Mets, and I think the Mets aren't going to squeak in. So I think it's going to be, pretty much end how it is right now. I think the Cardinals will take the division over the Brewers after the Brewers just got finessed for Josh Hader. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I think the Phillies will fall short. When your lineup is filled with power hitters, they're down to have some bad at-bats. Alec Boom is starting to hit better. They had a great game last night, but again, it was against the Nationals. And anytime you win against the Nationals, it's not something to have a party about. Josiah Gray just likes to give up home runs. He actually is happy that he has given up the most home runs in the MLB. So that's why it's just. The Nats are basically just a free win. If you lose to the Nats, you should hide for life. Like, gone. What are you doing? Patrick Corbin is their ace, and he's 4 and 15 with a 6.57 ERA.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I think about the NL.
All
Sorry
right.
for the little rant about how bad the Nats are, but I just had to do it.
So I think that the Braves are my lock. I'm not gonna lock in the Padres.
I would say the Padres are my lock, and the Mets. I think the Mets are going to be my number 2.
Well, so the Padres, I don't think they're a lock for the wild card yet, because they lose 3 games. Cardinals win 3 games. The Cardinals are only down by 3 against. The Phillies, Cardinals, Brewers only down by 3 against the Padres for the wild card. So I think that the Braves are my lock. I just like how the Braves are playing, and I think that they will be the wild card team, or even be division leaders, because they're only down by 4 games. But the Padres are doing great things, especially the trade deadline. We already talked about this. Soto, Bell,
Yeah.
Josh Hader, Brandon Drew. It's insane what they're doing. Cardinals, yeah, I think they will pull out against the Brewers, but I think the Brewers are a pretty good team.
I think the Brewers I feel like
they're always like that one mid team.
Yeah, I feel like, and trading away Josh Hader didn't help.
Yeah. So they still got Christian Yelich, Rowdy Tellez, and let's just say they don't have Josh Hader anymore. Phillies, they're really good. They got Bryce Harper, who's playing like Bryce Harper, not MVP Bryce Harper, So obviously they got Bryce, they got JT, who's playing great. They just have a great squad. Kyle Schwarber, a great squad, and I don't count them out of being a wild card team.
Let's go move on to the AL now. 1 second. All right. The AL is, I would say, closer. I would say they're both good races. The Blue Jays are in at first place at 59 and 47, and then at 57 and 49 is the Rays. And I think the two teams that I just think it's a little bit not as. I feel like both wild cards are kind of. They have some teams that could be there, and I think it's going to be Blue Jays and Mariners. The Mariners are 57 and 50, and then the Orioles are 55 and 51. They're 1.5 games back. I think it's going to be Blue Jays, Mariners. I think the Mariners will shock some people. I think they're playing good baseball after that 13-game win streak. I think they just have to, they won a series against the Yankees in 3 games. I think they're just going to continue to win games, and I won't be surprised when it happens. I mean, they have J-Rod out in center field. They have a good, solid core of pitching staff. They have good pitching. They have good enough hitting. They picked up Luis Castillo, and I think they will break the drought of the biggest North American sports team to not make the playoffs in a long time, and I think they will break that this year. I think they will make the wild card. And yes, I said it, Mariners fans, get excited, get watching games, get out to games, be excited. Your team's going to make the playoffs. I'm predicting it right now, and you will listen to this podcast, and you will show your friend, and you will say I'm smart. Thank you. I'm out.
I agree. I think that the Blue Jays and the Mariners have the best chances of being the wild card. I'm pretty big on the Orioles. I think that they have a good chance of passing even the Blue Jays or the Mariners. Just the Mariners are doing insane things. Like, I was watching a game earlier this week. They were facing Garrett Cole, who was an All-Star this year, so it's pretty good.
Garrett Cole's been getting beat up a little bit, though.
Garrett Cole gave up 6 runs in the first inning to this Mariners team. I don't know if that means that Garrett Cole was just pitching terribly, the Mariners were hitting great, or it was a mixture of both.
I think it was a little bit of both.
So I agree with you with the Mariners, Blue Jays, but I think the Orioles have a good chance of going out there, maybe passing both or one of those teams.
I think they're definitely going to make it in. All right, what do you want to do next? Let's try to get this podcast over now.
All right, we haven't talked about NBA in a while.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Okay,
whatever you want. You can decide the next topic.
All right, I will. NBA.
All right.
Let's talk. How about we go back to this or that? But let's go. How about we do this or that teams edition?
All right, let's go.
I will go first. What I'm gonna do is the 2 number 1 seeds in the NBA.
All right.
Miami Heat and the Phoenix Suns.
All right.
I will say my thing first. My opinion.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think next season, it's really well, if one of these teams gets Kevin Durant, then it's that team. But I'm gonna go with the Phoenix Suns because Chris Paul, who we talked about earlier, but I still think he's great. He's still a great point guard, just didn't really show up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Devin Booker, he's gonna be on the cover of 2K. I know that's really not
not
skillful, but
a cool achievement.
it's a cool achievement. Small forward Mikal Bridges, Bridges, candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. It's great. And they just re-signed, or I don't really know what this deal is going on because it's kind of strange. But I think they just re-signed DeAndre Ayton. So they got a great squad, and I think that they will.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that. I just don't think the Heat have enough weapons and enough underrated weapons. And Suns have a lot of underrated weapons. And I think if Kevin Durant gets traded to the Miami Heat, it'll immediately go to the Miami Heat, and I think it'll stay on the Suns if he gets traded to the Suns. I think I don't really know how much it's gonna go to KD, or what team KD's gonna get traded to, but I definitely think whoever it is, it'll make that team immediately better. And I'm going Suns right now. I just think the Suns have underrated talent. They have better talent, and that's why I'm going with the Suns.
All right. Do you have a this or that?
Grizzlies or
before you say it, I'm gonna say Grizzlies because I think they will be the number one seed.
Grizzlies or Hawks?
Grizzlies.
Grizzlies.
Or do you want to say your thing first?
I think I'm gonna go Hawks. I mean, the Hawks have that X game factor that they've done in the playoffs. They've been clutch in the playoffs again. They've won in the playoffs, and I think DeAndre Murray is just boosting their chances. I think they have a more complete team than the Grizzlies, and if Trae Young just shows up and shows out, I don't know who will stop John Morant, but I think DeJounte Murray can stop John Morant. Now Trae Young definitely can't. Trae Young's a liability on defense. I know that. I know that he's not great on defense, but I think his offense will make up for it, and that's why I'm going with the Hawks.
All right. So I know Jaren Jackson is out for a little bit to start, but the Grizzlies are definitely a more well-built roster. Like, I'm gonna name you their starting five, and you can't say that it's worse than the Hawks. You got John Morant at point, Desmond Bane at shooting guard, who had a breakout season last year. Dylan Brooks, he did some stuff in the playoffs, but he's still great. Jaren Jackson Jr., who was playing like an all-star at some points in the season, and Steven Adams, who didn't really get a lot of playing time in the playoffs because, he wasn't doing that great. But Steven Adams is still Steven Adams, and he can do whatever. And now I'm gonna read out the Hawks roster, and let's see. I just think that the Memphis Grizzlies are more well-rounded than this. All right, so our point guard, we already know Trae Young. Shooting guard DeJounte Murray, who is great. Now let's see, who's their best small forward? Their best small forward is probably DeAndre Hunter. He's really good. He's pretty good. And power forward, who's their power forward? Power forward is John Collins, who's great, and Clint Capella at center. They have a very well-rounded team actually, but I still think that the Grizzlies have a well-rounded team, and I think that they will be better than the Hawks next year.
I agree with that. I think the Grizzlies roster is better, but then the Hawks team has that experience in the playoffs. They went into a hostile environment in New York and just Trae Young balled out. I can't really say the same for Ja when he played the Warriors. When he really got challenged by the Warriors team, he didn't really respond like Ja did against the 76ers. They swept the 1-seed 76ers. Obviously, Ben Simmons didn't exactly help the team, but I just think they have that experience is huge, and I think that's why I'm going with the Hawks.
So I understand the Grizzlies didn't get past the Warriors, but John Morant still played out of his mind. In the first game, he did pretty good, but he missed the game-winning layup. It was a contested layup, so it's not like he missed the bunny.
True.
And in the second game, he dropped 47 points. So, and then the third game, he got injured. So it's really not his fault that he got injured. And he balled out in the second game of the series. And in the third game of the series, he made one past half court. And he was making everything. Yeah, and
but experience. The whole Hawks team has Clint Capella has experience. DeAndre has experience. They have experience.
DeJounte Murray doesn't have experience.
Yeah, but DeJounte Murray.
I don't think DeJounte Murray has ever made it to the playoffs.
He never has, but he will this year.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
Let's see. The Hawks won one game in the first round. and the Grizzlies won 4. And
well, that was last year. Last year they didn't have that extra push of DeJounte Murray that they will have this year.
okay, that's respectable.
You want to have a this or that baseball?
Sure.
We haven't really had one of those.
This or that baseball teams or players?
You want to do players?
Sure.
All right. You want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. All right. So for this one, it is for here. All right. It's for this year, fully healthy.
Fully healthy. All right.
Mike Trout.
Mhm.
Shohei. What's on?
Oh man, really putting me on the spot here.
Two Angels.
I mean, honestly, I don't think I've really admired how good Shohei has been, and I've kind of not really talked about him too much in my own podcast, Brandon Sports Podcast. I haven't really, really thought about him being better than Babe Ruth. But you know what? I'll go for it. Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, I think Shohei Ohtani has the potential to be better than Babe Ruth all time. And I haven't really thought about that because of, I just never really thought anyone would challenge Babe Ruth. But I think it's definitely possible for Shohei to challenge Babe Ruth. And I'm going to go Shohei just because he pitched. He might not hit. Trout is a better hitter, but the fact that Shohei also pitches just makes it him better. Oh my bad, just made my previous video.
Yeah, I agree. You made some great points there, and that's exactly what I was going to say. I think that it's better to be a more versatile player. And when Mike Trout is fully healthy, he probably will get injured. So, all right, you up with this or that?
All right, this or that. Let me think for a second. I know you're all gonna be hating. Why can't you come up with one sooner? Blah, 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 blah. All right, let's go. Yordan Alvarez or Pete Alonso.
All right, I got my pick.
All right, I got mine. Oh yeah, you can go.
It's a little shocker. I got Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, same.
Obviously Pete Alonso's great. I just think that if there's one player that I want for my team, this year or future, because it's both the same answer for me. I just think that I would rather have Yordan Alvarez. Obviously, the Houston Astros have only a 2-game better record than the Mets, and Yordan Alvarez has been a big part of that. And he has been phenomenal. He's third in home runs with 30 home runs. That's great, And Pete Alonso is tied for 4th, and he's great. And I would rather have Yordan Alvarez.
I would definitely also rather have Yordan. I think he hits, he fields, or he doesn't field. Obviously, he's a DH, but I think Pete Alonso's defense isn't that good either. Just because he's not a great defender over there at first base. So yeah, he's not a great defender over there at first base either. So I think Yordan's just a better hitter, and I would take Yordan. I think that's gonna wrap it up for today's first ever episode. This was a great episode. Don't know how often we'll come out with episodes, but when we do, make sure you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy it, and I will make sure you subscribe and like. It means a lot, and it's free, and you can always unsubscribe if you start disliking the content. And I hope you all enjoy. Mikey, any last words?
No, just thank you for watching, and hope you have a great day.
All right, yep. Hope you have a great day. Make sure you subscribe and like. It helps us out a ton, and it's free. You can always unsubscribe and unlike later if you dislike the content. Thank you all for watching, and as always, peace.